Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory Srila Prabhupada. I hope you all are well. I welcome you all to His Holiness Candramauli Maharaj's daily call. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory Srila Prabhupada. We'll just wait for a second for Guru Maharaj to come back and then we can start the session. I hope most of the devotees are in India now for the retreat, I'm assuming. And this is why we have got quite low attendance. Maybe everyone is busy. So yesterday we discussed, Maharaj discussed the, department. Yes, Maharaj.
I'll be back in 2 minutes. Just keep playing for a second.
Okay, Maharaj, I'll start the kirtan. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory Srila Prabhupada. Your volume is very low, Maharaj. I can't hear it. Maybe if you can increase the volume a little bit.
There's no increase on this. Let me see, maybe there is.
Or maybe it's my laptop. Maybe it's my laptop. Sorry, I think.
Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So I'm assuming we are discussing the departure plot Krishna from Dwarka, first canto, 10th chapter and second verse. Is that correct, Maharaj?
Correct.
Thank you. I'll share the screen.
Correct. Right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Sridevaya. Sutta Uvacha Sankaro Vamsa Navatmi Nirhitam Saro Haritva Bhava Bhavane Harihi Vistesa Yatva Vijaraja Ishvaro Yudhishtham Vittam Mano Bandha. Translation. Super Goswami said, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthira in his own kingdom, and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of India. This world is compared to a forest fire caused by a cohesion of bamboo bushes. Such a forest fire takes place automatically. With bamboo cohesion occurs without external cause. Similarly, in the material world, the wrath of those who want to lord over material nature interacts, and the fire of war takes place, exhausting the unwanted population. Such fires or wars take place and the Lord has nothing to do with them. But because he wants to maintain the creation, he desires the mass of people to follow the right path of self-realization, which enables the living beings to enter into the kingdom of God. The Lord wants the suffering human beings to come back to him and cease to suffer the threefold pangs of material nature. The whole plan of creation is made in that way, and one who does not come to his senses suffers in the material world by pangs inflicted by the illusionary energy of the Lord. The Lord therefore wants his bona fide representative to rule the world. Lord Krishna descended to establish this sort of regime and to kill the unwanted persons who have nothing to do with his plan. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of the Lord, so that undesired persons could get out of the world and a peaceful kingdom under his devotee could be established. The Lord was therefore fully satisfied when King Yudhisthira was on the throne and the sealing of the dynasty of Kuru in the person of Maharaj Parikshit and shared. Yan Kimarandasyan Ganan Salakana Chaksum Manitam Yena Tasmai Shivurave Namaha Ma Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Vishnu Namaste Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavani Pastyatya Deve Vanchakalpa Tarivasya Sindhu Devasya Pitanvam Parvanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivastava Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare.
Hare Krishna
Oh.
Maharaj. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I received a message saying that your voice is not clear. Can I just check with everyone? If you cannot hear, then we might have to ask Maharaj to stop the camera.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
No need, Mataji. Just it is good now, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Maharaj. We can continue. Sorry to interrupt.
So here, and this is the Battle of Kurukshetra was compared to a fire that was caused by the anger of so many living entities. War takes place when people are greedy for material control. When more than one nation or society of people want to control outside of their respected areas, then we have a whole series of exploitations based on, because the nature of the conditioned soul in the material world is that he wants to control and he wants to enjoy. Because the enjoying principle follows the control principle. And the control principle is not necessarily limited to one's own area of control. So we see nations are always exploiting other nations for power, for control, for natural resources. And it says that these things take place just like the cohesion of bamboos. When bamboos, they grow in the forest in different areas. And if a strong wind comes and the bamboos erupt together, then a fire can ignite from the cohesion of the bamboo bushes. Similarly, when wrath takes over and people want to lord it over the material energy, then there are many conflicts that arise. And this is what you see constantly in the material world. Has there ever been a time of peace in the material world? History says no. For instance, the United States of America, considered to be the most materially, economically powerful country in the world. The history shows that the country began in 1776. That was the establishment of the Constitution, and then the country was somewhat born from that date. 1776 to now is about 250 years. In those 250 years, there has been only 17 years where the United States has not been involved in some type of war. Only 17 years out of 250. So you see, nations are always battling other nations. And so sometimes these things take place due to the sinful activities of the population. And Prabhupada also says, then war takes place, exhausting the unwanted population. What is unwanted population? That's called Vana Sankara. That means people who do not follow the rules and regulations of the Vedic culture and live a life of sense gratification based on exploitation of material energy. Therefore, they do not do anything good for the world, and they simply try to exploit the world for their own selfish interests. This unwanted population was talked about by Arjuna when Krishna wanted him to initially engage in the fight of the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna said that if the men will kill, then the women will be unprotected. And with a class of women with no protectors, then they will be easily exploited by unscrupulous men. And then you'll have what is called Vana Sankara, which means unwanted population. And you have that today. You know, a lot of the children who are born, they're simply born out of lust. And because of that, many of these souls who come into the birth in this realm of existence, the earthly realm, are coming from lower planets, coming from very sinful karma. And they're born. And then the whole karmic calculation of the planet starts to shift. And the piety becomes less, and sinful activities becomes more. And that's what you have today. The whole world is very sinful right now. Because they follow no rules, they follow no regulations. Morality is according to one's own idea. In other words, whatever the idea is, you can do anything you want to do, as long as you don't cause harm to others. Of course, that's not possible if you do anything you want to do, but that's what they say. And so you have a class of unwanted population who are simply causing problems, just like many of them, these young people who are born, they go into their schools, they're teenagers, and they just take automatic rifles and shoot up their fellow classmates and teachers. So this is happening quite often in the United States of America. And we have so many examples of that. Examples of people who just want to kill people for no reason. There are stories where people would take automatic high-powered rifles and just sit in a high place, and as the cars go by, they would shoot at the cars. So, I mean, you have all kinds of, what we say, just like in Chicago, this year, I think it was this year in Chicago, yeah, it was the 4th of July in Chicago. And just somebody, not somebody, but yeah, just one person, he just took a automatic rifle, and there was a 4th of July parade in Chicago, and he just came and started shooting everybody. He killed many people, injured a score of others until he was captured by the police. So there's no reason, but this is due to Vana Samskara. And these people are born into this society who are very vicious and criminal minded due to their previous karma, and they're born out of lust. And so, but Prabhupada then, after describing this situation, he goes on to say that the Lord wants the suffering living entities to come back to him and cease their suffering in material life, and again gain their rightful position in the spiritual world. So that's the Lord. He wants everyone to be free from suffering. He knows that in the material world, one has to suffer. The material life is another feature of suffering. Even if you are nicely placed in a material way, you still have to suffer disease, you still have to suffer old age, you still have to suffer death, and many times you also have to suffer by different situations that come in your life. And so suffering is, as Krishna says, dukkhalayam vasasritam. It's the feature of this material world. But suffering is unnatural because the living entity, as a pure spiritual being, is always in a joyful state of consciousness. But because they accept the body as the self and think that by satisfying the senses of the body as much as possible, one can enjoy life. But actually, the opposite actually happens, because material sense gratification, as it's described in the Nectar of Devotion, has two features. One is that it causes suffering, and two, people cannot stop doing it, even though they're suffering due to the activities they perform. They're inclined to continue the same thing, although they continue to suffer. This is how material energy works. So Krishna says here, the battle of Kurukshetra was arranged by the Lord to get rid of this unwanted population that was overburdening the world. And Krishna arranged this war in order to reestablish saintly rule throughout the world. That means his devotees. So the Lord comes, and the Lord has also come at the present time. He's come about 535 years ago, 536 years ago, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he has also come as an incarnation of himself in the form of the chanting of the holy name. So the chanting of the holy name is, as it mentions, Kalikale Namarupa Krishna Avatar. The holy name is an avatar of Krishna, which has appeared in this particular time to rid the world of unwanted population and to reestablish saintly rule within the world, and to purify the population and bring them back to their natural consciousness of devotion. So this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is Krishna come to kill the demons, to reestablish religious principles, and to elevate those who are in devotional service, and to bring about a transformation of the consciousness of the world. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Priti Vichi Achi Nagar Nagar Adigram Pasar Nama. I can't remember that whole verse, but the verse says that in every town and village, the name of Krishna will be chanted. So Lord Chaitanya has come with this prophetic statement, and he said that in due course of time, so when Lord Chaitanya came, he came in the year 1486. So that time period was the birth of the Nam Sankirtan movement, which is meant to spread throughout the entire world. For the first few hundred years, it was locked within the confines of the Indian subcontinent. But His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, on the order of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, who had came to initiate and enunciate Lord Chaitanya's teachings and spread Krishna consciousness around the world. So His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, as a dutiful servant of his and empowered by the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, came to spread Krishna consciousness around the world. And that means spreading the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. And so in due course of time, Lord Chaitanya's movement will continue to spread more and more and more. Although it appears, as we look at the world today, we can see it looks quite sinful, horrible, materially dangerous. Still, Lord Chaitanya's plan is manifesting in different ways. The Lord is working through his different energies to bring about a revolution. So when Lord Chaitanya appeared in 1486, that was the beginning of the golden age. And so in this particular Kali Yuga lasts 432,000 years. So starting with the year 1486 and continuing for 5,000 years, in the spreading of the chanting of the Hare Krishna movement, Maha Mantra will continue to go everywhere around the world. And if we do a little examination, research, we can see in so many areas the holy name is spreading. There are many, many success stories as Krishna's holy name is going everywhere and anywhere. And people are taking up the chanting of the holy name seriously. So for 5,000 years, from 1486 up for 5,000 years, and that'll be the golden age. And after 5,000 years, then for the next 5,000 years, it will start to decrease. And then the full force of Kali Yuga will come in. So if you carefully read the 11th canto, you'll see about the glories of Nam Sankirtan as it spreads in this age of Kali. If you read the 12th canto, you'll read about the horrors of Kali Yuga as it appears even now, but it will be even stronger once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement has exhausted itself for 10,000 years. So Prabhupada would say to the devotees, don't stay around, don't come back into this material world because it's not going to get any better. Better to go back home, back Godhead now. Take advantage of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and seriously chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with attention, with devotion, regularly every day. And take Krishna Prasadam and associate with others and do whatever you can to help spread Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. That means inspire others to take up chanting of the holy name. Personally, I like to see each and every devotee who has come to my shelter to become a first-class preacher of the Krishna conscious movement. This is my desire that each and every devotee become serious, become Krishna conscious, do whatever you can to help spread Lord Chaitanya's movement. And the more devotees who take this movement up seriously, the faster this movement will spread. And so it's destined. Just like you see here, Krishna came, he rid the world of the unwanted population. That battle of Kurukshetra, 640 million soldiers were killed. 640 million. Now that's not a small number. And that was only within 18 days 640 million soldiers were killed. So the world now is going through a great transformation as Lord Chaitanya's movement is spreading, and the demoniac resources are also becoming more and more vicious as wars, pestilence, and shortages around the world are helping to bring about Lord Chaitanya's movement as it cleans the world of the unwanted population, so Lord Chaitanya's movement can again flourish throughout the whole world. So we are in the middle of a very historical time where the whole world is going through transformation. It's an exciting time for devotees because they have a great opportunity to assist the Lord in bringing about his desire to bring all the conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead, through this process of Harinam Sankirtan. Because Harinam Sankirtan is so powerful because it's Goloka Premadan Harinam Shankirtan Ratin Jan Milo Keni Upai. It is coming directly from the spiritual world into the lives of those who take it up seriously. So we have a great mission in front of us, and we have to take this very seriously. Become Krishna conscious. Don't waste time. Whatever material requirements you have, settle that, and then go on with your real business of becoming Krishna conscious. So this is the plan of the Lord. As it says here, the battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of the Lord, so that undesirable persons could get out of the world and peaceful kingdom under his devotee could be established. This is exactly what is happening right now. The Lord was therefore fully satisfied with King Yudhisthira when he was on the throne, and the seedling of the dynasty of Kuru in the person of Maharaj Parikshit was saved. Maharaj Parikshit was meant to be the next ruling king after King Yudhisthira, but Asvatthama wanted to destroy the last living heir, but Krishna came and saved Maharaj Parikshit. When he was still in the womb of his mother, Krishna entered into the womb of Uttara, the mother of Maharaj Parikshit, and stopped the Brahmastra weapon which came to kill the child. The Lord saved him because that was the last living heir to the throne, and after that there was no one. So we see how, and this is very important to see, because you'll see how the Lord is acting to make things happen. Either he does it directly when he comes personally, or he does it indirectly through his different energies and his devotees. But now he's doing it directly through the Harinam Sankirtan movement as it spreads around the world to create this fire of bamboo which will burn down the unwanted, undesirable persons in this world, and then bring about, as it says here, peaceful kingdom under saintly rule. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. God doesn't lie. God doesn't make up stories. God doesn't give us false prophecy. God says, my name will be chanted throughout the world. It's just, but he also says, the faster the devotees become Krishna conscious and take it, the faster it will happen. But it will happen, whether it happens fast or slow, it will happen. Because as it's understood, if we don't do it, the next generation of devotees will do it. And if they don't do it, then the next generation will do it. It works like that. The Lord is always willing to empower anyone who is seriously taking up Krishna consciousness. So chant, take prasadam, associate with devotees, and find ways you can take part in this glorious, this is the greatest part of history now being played out in the world. We read about history, and so many great wars took place in history, which established with various types of kingdoms. And we read about great men, and we think, oh, that was some, but it's happening right now. Right now it is happening, and Lord is orchestrating his plan to bring about peace in the world by establishing the Sankirtan movement in every town and village. So wherever you are within the world, inspire a Sankirtan, encourage the devotees to go out, chant, dance, and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. Not just the Harinam, but holy books also. Prabhupada said the communists were successful in distributing their philosophy, their propaganda, because they were out there with their books, with their people, going everywhere, distributing their literature. So Prabhupada said, we need to flood the world with Krishna consciousness material. And when people get that, then they read something and then they think, oh, this actually makes sense. And there's a whole class of people that we are not even aware of, who are reading our books, who are chanting Hare Krishna, who are not directly part of our movement, but are very active on the side. So there's a large group of people like that. I would say tens and thousands of people who have come in contact with our movement, who are what we say closet devotees. That is there because we have distributed so far more than 600 million pieces of literature. 600 million pieces of transcendental literature has been distributed in the last 55 years, 57 years of our movement. We might even say 50 years. As book distribution didn't start until around 1970. So yeah, it's a glorious time, and the Lord has the plan. So we can watch the plan, or we can get immersed in the mania of material life and get crushed by it, or we can take part in Krishna's plan and become, what we say, recognized by Krishna. It says if you're recognized by Krishna, then you're guaranteed to go back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada said those who distribute this Krishna consciousness, this will automatically be recognized by Krishna. It's not a small thing. So yeah, we want to please Krishna because Krishna has a plan to bring about peace within the world through the Sankirtan movement. Chant, dance, take prasadam, go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. I felt we went very deep and to the different level in this verse. Thank you so much. And especially I thank you for, opening up your heart and telling us your desire for all of us and giving us a kind of instruction that what you want us to do, to go deep in our sadhana and, establish this, take this moment to the next level again. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Raj Prabhu, you have a question, please go ahead. Devotees, it would be nice if you can keep your cameras on and keep your questions ready as well. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to yourself, all glories to all of the Vaishnavas. Maharaj, I remember a class that you gave many months ago, and you talked about when Krishna was about to leave the planet and he was talking to Mother Ganga, and Mother Ganga was concerned, and he was saying that his devotees will still be on the planet. I think he said his devotees will still be on the planet for another 10,000 years. So
Your voice, you've gone mute, Raj Prabhu. Raj Prabhu, you're on mute. I think he can't hear us. Raj Prabhu, Hare Krishna. I think we have lost the connection. We will go to the, he's continued to talk. I'm so sorry.
Message on chat, Mataji, 1 second.
Yeah. Yes, he is unmuted. Sorry, Prabhu. We heard only that till that point when you said that Krishna said to Ganga that my devotees will be here for next 10,000 years. If you can continue after that.
yes, so I thought, yeah, that was the golden age. But then I heard from you today, and I've also heard from other sources that there was a golden age from Lord Chaitanya's time. So I was wondering, is there a golden age within the golden age?
Well, the golden age is calculated according to the birth of Lord Chaitanya's appearance.
Okay.
So, leading that time period, 5,000 years, it gradually, just by the Lord's appearance, he spread Krishna consciousness through the holy name throughout the entire subcontinent of India. The Lord, yeah, even Prabhupada had mentioned that many times, that when Lord Chaitanya was here, he spread the holy name all over India. And millions of people were chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So he began the movement, and he brought the means by which the movement will spread. And now it is, of course, in any movement of spiritual expansion, sometimes you have what is called waves. Things go up and things go down. So after Lord Chaitanya left the planet, things went down. About 100 years after that, things went down for another 150 years. For Lord Chaitanya's movement was sidetracked by unscrupulous people who were claiming to be followers of Lord Chaitanya, who were not at all qualified. They were also exploiting the movement for their own sense gratification. They were unauthorized. They were called asampradayas, or people who come and claim allegiance and following to Lord Chaitanya, but have no such authority. So that happened for 100. Then it was Bhakti Vinod Thakur in the middle of the 1800s who resurrected Lord Chaitanya's movement when he came across the writing of the Chaitanya Charitamrita in Bengali. He had been looking for it for years, and finally when he found it, he grew up in the Shakta tradition, that means worshiping of the energy of the Lord. But after coming in contact with Lord Chaitanya, he actually became a great Vaishnava. And then he wrote over 100 books and periodicals describing Lord Chaitanya's movement and the expansion of Lord Chaitanya's movement. Then he produced a son, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who became the next in line to keep the movement moving. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati created an army of sannyasis that traveled throughout the entire subcontinent, again, reestablishing Lord Chaitanya's movement. And one such person was His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, knowing the inner mood of Lord Chaitanya, he sent his leading sannyasis to different places around the world to preach. They went to Germany, they went to France, they went to Burma, which is now known as Myanmar. They went to London, and they all came back with hardly any tangible results. And then our Srila Prabhupada, who wasn't a sannyasi, he was a grihasta, He had given up all of his family attachment. He had given up all of his business. And he took up the message of his spiritual master. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati could recognize that this is the person who would do it. And he empowered him to do it. Prabhupada did it. So all of this is all of Lord Chaitanya's movement playing itself out. If you understand the history, you can see how the Lord is working to bring about his mission in the world. He's working right now to do the same thing through his different devotees, different programs. So many things are happening. He's also, like he had worked in the beginning to establish it, he's also working to spread it. But we can either sit back and try to watch it and just kind of say, oh yeah, that's nice. But we will not get any benefit from that. Better to dive into it and become one of his messengers for spreading Krishna consciousness. Because that's what he's asking. He wants each and every devotee to be an instrument of his mercy to establish Krishna consciousness around the world. No matter who you are, no matter what position you are, no matter what economic bracket you are, no matter what age you are, you can always do something, connect with something, begin something to develop through Lord Chaitanya's. And this is the Lord, and Prabhupada actually said, he said to us, he said, the children of your children will spread Krishna consciousness around the world. Said that to our generation, my generation. He said, the children of your children. That means your children. Prabhupada said that generation will take Krishna consciousness around the world. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do anything. Produce some nice children who will become Krishna conscious, and they will also do much of the work. But you should also assist them, help them, and inspire them, and also get involved. It's glorious. And even if you sacrifice everything material for it, you'll go back home, back to God.
Thank you, Maharaj.
We have Anahita is here.
Mm.
She is the children of our children. Yeah. Right. She's I don't think anybody knows Anahita. She just appeared today after so many.
Thank you very much of Grace Purpose. I'm sorry, I listen in on daily talks. They might be recording, and I jump on when I can. Yeah, so nice to actually have a little bit of time to see you and everybody.
Thank you. Her parents are devotees, and so she was born in the movement. And her and her partner are very active in trying to bring Krishna consciousness through the media. They're doing media work to spread Krishna consciousness through Krishna consciousness. Dramas, plays, like that, which is a very big part of Srila Prabhupada's movement. He wanted that. He was inspired when he saw devotees doing it, and he inspired the devotees to continue and spread this drama or displaying Krishna's pastimes everywhere and anywhere. He said people will become transformed to Krishna consciousness through this glorious service. Thank you. There's your little girl, huh?
Say Haribo. It's shy. Hare Krishna. This is Nayana Nimaya. Say Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Nayana?
Yes, Nayan and Nimai.
Nayan and Nimai. Oh, it's a boy.
She's a girl, yeah. So Nimai, she was born on appearance day of Nimai. So we had Nimai and then after, so Nayan and Nimai, yeah.
He was born on Lord Chaitanya's appearance day.
Yes, yes. How old are you? 3. 3, so 3 years ago.
Hello, Nimai.
Say hello.
Hare
Hello.
Thank you.
Srimati, you have some questions? Srimati?
Srimati Mataji, you have a question? Scarlett Mataji also has. Scarlett Mataji, you can go ahead maybe. Anyone? Oh, yeah, Srimati
Maharaj.
Mataji.
Sorry, I was thinking that Scarlett Mataji would ask. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance. Always to Shri Prabhupada. Thank you so much for the class, Guru Maharaj. And also, you were talking about the next generations. So my question is, like, should we try and make them Krishna conscious, or should we leave them like, or as they are, suppose my kids, they come to temple, they participate in a lot of programs, but they are also getting into these material things. So
It's normal.
will I wait for them to understand and take their Krishna conscious on their own pace, or should I encourage them to do more from now onwards, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, well, whatever they're doing, try to encourage them to keep doing what they're doing, and then do more of the same thing. It's not that they have to do something different. But we find, and there's a large group of young people who just love kirtan. So here's where the young people really resonate with our movement. They just get involved with kirtan as much as possible. So that's big in many places around the world. So there's where the youth, they see their friends also doing kirtan. They want to be part of that group. So they get involved with kirtan and start learning instruments. And that's our movement, to spread the kirtan. You can get them involved with kirtan, and then they'll get a nice taste.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Siddharth has a very nice taste of kirtan, so he's always in the middle of kirtan playing mridanga or kartals. So, and even my daughter also started now. So here in Dallas, we have a big youth congregation, like youth devotees. They are always doing kirtans after the Aarti programs in temple. Yeah, I'm positive about it, Guru Maharaj, but just I was a little concerned because they are seeing a lot other people in their school and other friends who are not Krishna conscious or non-devotees, and they are always into many other things, and sometimes they compare, we are not doing all those things like that. So at that time, it's difficult to explain them, or yeah, I was just thinking like they should be a part of this preaching program moment as soon as possible. But I don't know, it's all in Krishna's hand, but it's just my wish.
Sounds like it's going good, but you know, they're going to grow up. They're going to want to get an education. They're going to want to get some position in the world. And then they're going to want to get married, have their families. That's fine. But, you know, at the same time, just keep feeding them Krishna consciousness. Take them to the temple, inspire them to go to the yatras. There's a lot of programs where they have just the youth go different places.
Just Guru Maharaj, yeah.
Yeah, just like I was in Mayapur, and many young groups were coming from different places. The whole group came from the UK. The whole group came from different places in India, just to go to the holy places, take part in the program.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mataji. Scarlett Mataji, you have a question? Please go ahead.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to you, Guru Maharaj. Very, very, very strange thing I just want to tell. Yesterday, there was a voice told me to give away these two books.
I can't see the book. Oh, yeah. Well, one
See?
is, what's the name of the book? Like,
It's the one of them is Teaching of Chaitanya. The other one, the self-realization.
no, nice. Two.
I gave away these two books yesterday, and
Mhm.
today we have talked about Lord Chaitanya. So I just want to tell, it was it's very strange feeling. I don't know what to make of it, but it feels good, very, very good. The other one, the other one I want to ask, in my understanding, whatever I read all the time, it's we get to encourage to think about, to see Krishna in everything, and Krishna in everything and everybody. But then it's in the same time we should be careful not to think about sense gratulation, going to do things that is actually is not good for our Krishna consciousness. But then it feels this way, that there is the risk that when we say see the Krishna in everything, there is a risk that it's a Krishna who's enjoying it. I do it, the things what Krishna enjoyed. Is it right to think this way?
Everything is Krishna's energy. Because Krishna is the source of everything, both spiritual and material. So whatever there is in existence is an energy of Krishna. But we take those energies and we reformulate them into another level of existence, and that is our material things. So we take Krishna's energy, we make computers, we make homes, we make cars, we make buildings. But the ingredients that make up everything is ultimately coming from Krishna. Prabhupada would also say that, you know, the scientists are trying to observe what is the source of everything. So they take the basic elements, such, just like if you make glass, if you want to make glass, you need sand to make glass. So where does the sand come from? They have no answer. They just say, well, it comes by way of nature. But then whose nature is it? Who actually put nature into a position to supply different things? So everything, you can trace everything back to Krishna, because he is the source of everything. And so seeing everything in relationship to Krishna means to understand that he is the enjoyer, because everything comes by him. Just like Prabhupada says, a person might create a painting and display that painting in a museum for the benefit of others, but it belongs to that artist, and he did it for his own happiness. Others may benefit from the painting, but he did it for his own sadness. So Krishna created everything for his own pleasure. He does everything for his own pleasure, but we can enjoy in that same creation when we connect it with Krishna. So seeing everything in relationship to Krishna means nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to him, but he's so kind, he's letting me use it so I can live in this world. I take what I need, and then I use my time to serve Krishna. That's so yes, seeing Krishna in others means to see the soul within the body and not simply see only the body. You may see the body, but you have to understand that along with that body, there's a living being who is a pure soul, who is actually of the same nature as Krishna, who belongs to Krishna. It's like you belong to Krishna. Unless we see in that way, we see in a cutoff way, just like the scientists and people, they see the cause when it happens, but they can't see what's behind it. All of their experiments are based on what is happening in the present, but they can't see behind what is the source that's making everything happen. And therefore, all of their theories, all of their experiments, all of their research is wrong, because they see, just like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Generally, Ayurvedic medicine treats the cause of the disease and not the symptom of the disease. Ayurvedic medicine goes to the root cause of what causes the disease to appear, an imbalance in the bodily energies, the different doshas. Rebalancing the doshas and again, reinforcing the digestion will bring back a healthy living body. Now, allopathic medicine looks at the symptoms and says, well, because you have this symptoms, you have this disease, here's some medicine which cures the symptoms, but it doesn't cure the disease. The disease either goes into remission or somehow leaves for a little while or hides in a different place. So you can see, you can either, so material world, everything, everyone's seeing the symptoms. They don't see the cause behind it. Behind everything is Krishna. Everything. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, one who sees me in everything and everything in me, I am never lost to him and he is never lost to me. So, if we understand that, we're free. Everything belongs to Krishna. And therefore, just take prasad and be happy.
I know a woman which I try to talk to and give some, make her to read and so on. Anytime I talk to this woman, so, and I said, you should see Krishna in everything and so on. She has a very, very, very troubled childhood. Her mother was not a good mother, or her mother treated her very, very, very badly. Then she said, should I see in my mother who abused me to death, should I see in her Krishna, that is Krishna who's abusing me to death? And never show me anything, never took care of me as a mother should do. Should I see it is that it's Krishna?
It is and it isn't at the same time. Krishna doesn't want to see anyone suffer, so he's not the cause of anyone's suffering. Krishna says that. I am not the cause of anyone's suffering or enjoyment in this world. Material nature is. So if people live within the three modes of material nature, then he interact with one of these or more modes. Therefore, they're getting reactions, either in goodness, passion, and ignorance. But Krishna puts the material energy in place, but he is, and it works in a certain way. If we follow the laws of Krishna, then we become free from the reactions of material energy. If we don't, then we have to suffer. So you might say that this woman who is speaking like that, she was born into this particular family to get this particular mother due to her previous karma. So that's the laws of material nature. So Krishna is not at fault. It's just like if you, what would be an example? You go into an educational system and they have a procedure by how all the education is distilled and disseminated. And then you start making your own program. And because you're making your own program, you're changing everything around. So the Lord has made the three modes of material nature to work in the same way. And if we follow his instructions, we become happy. If we go against his instructions, and the laws of material nature will come and punish us. Maya is the rewarding agent, and she is the punishing agent. She rewards people in the mode of goodness. She punishes people in the mode of ignorance. And she gives a combination of suffering and enjoyment to those in the mode of passion. So you can't blame Krishna. Whatever is happening to us is due to our karma. But you can stop the reactions of your karma by becoming Krishna conscious. It's not that you have to suffer your karma or you have to enjoy your karma. It's not required. You can, if you want to get out of that karmic cycle, then you have to come to Krishna consciousness. Then you're free from karma. If she stays in the cycle and tries to adjust the material energy, she may do some adjustment a little bit here and there, but because her karma is still working in such a way, she'll still get the reactions of her karma. Karma is the laws of nature, and they're strict. You can't break them, you can't change them. If you come in contact with some disease, you get the disease. You can't say, well, I didn't want this disease. Well, you became infected because you came in contact. Therefore, you got it. Same with material energy. If we act in a certain way, we will get a certain reaction. So in her case, it appears, I'm just giving what I think is, that she was born into this particular family because of her previous karma. And that's true. But doesn't mean she has to suffer that karma. If she comes to Krishna consciousness, she can get out of that suffering.
Can I ask a question? How long, if she do reading and chanting and I don't know with the distribution, but we say she do that too. Does it mean that she have start to change it, or she must first be initiated to get away from that? You understand what I don't know if I say my question right.
Yeah. No, devotional service, it starts as soon as you begin it. Even if you're not initiated, you still get the benefit of devotional service. The initiation brings you on the path of bhakti, and then progress is much faster and much more direct due to accepting the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. But there is a Gyata Sukriti. A Gyata Sukriti means even people who are not initiated, even if they do some devotional service, and they don't even know it's devotional service, they get some benefit. There's the story of the mouse and the flame.
Yes.
You know that story?
Yes, you have told already. Yes.
Yeah. There's a beautiful, the whole story is written in one periodical. I just read it about a couple of weeks ago. How that actually Mouse became a queen in her next life. Yeah, so the mouse actually was chased by a cat, ran into the ghee wick, the ghee lamp that was on the altar burning. Her tail got caught on fire. But when her tail was on fire, she was waving that fire around, and she was actually doing arti to the deity. A mouse. She died, but then in her next birth, she came back as a queen. She got the benefit of offering what is called a gyata sukriti, unknowingly performing devotional service. So devotional service works whether you're initiated or not.
Thank you. Thanks, Scarlett Mataji. Maharaj, there is a question from Rishabh Prabhu in the chat. I'll read it for you. Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev, regarding youth and kirtans. So this is the question related to Srimati Mataji. It seems that this kirtan are more about sense enjoyment and musicality than Krishna, regulation and devotion. They don't want to follow anything, just kirtan and sometimes even intoxication with all of it. Any comments on it?
Well, at least they're doing something. You can always tell them that you'll make much more spiritual progress if if you give up all this other nonsense. But because they're doing kirtan, they're getting some benefit.
Thanks, Maharaj. Arisha Prabhu, I hope that answers your question.
Encourage them to move forward in a nice way without destroying their already desire to do kirtan. You want to take it to another level, that's all.
Thank you, Maharaj. Revati Mataji, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So just a clarification, Guru Maharaj, like when we distribute books, a lot of people, they are happy to receive the books. They like to read the books, and there are few of my friends, they love to read the Bhagavad Gita. They read every day. But when it comes to coming regularly, attending the programs and, dedicatedly being in this association, they may not like it. So is that okay as far as they're reading?
Because they see it as something very nice, something very social. Some other people are doing it, so they read the books, they go see. Once in a while they go to the temple, they take part in a festival. But they're not serious about devotional life, but they're making some progress. Only when they start associating with senior devotees will they actually start to change. When they come in contact with, devotees who are fixed in the pure devotional service, then by that association, if they do some service there, then they will start to move forward in Krishna consciousness. Many of the people who are living in this society, they grew up in India, they grew up in that environment, and they just think very nice, but it's not a way of life. But some came forward just like you did. You made it out of the mess. So other people can make it out too. Look for those who are more serious. Focus on those who are more inclined, and then put your energy to encourage them, to bring them in, to invite them to, when you have programs at your own house, invite them to come. People who are just, what they call, just want to just socialize and take prasadam. Let them come, but you don't want to spend so much time. It's just a waste of time with them. You look for the serious ones and put your attention on that.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, as you said, most of the time, like they think like, they love to read the books, but they still think this is not the way of life, They have that attitude in the back. Yeah, I see that.
They've been trained wrongly.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
And when you see who's really interested in a very regular way, put your attention on them.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, but it's very hard to convince people to come dedicatedly. We find it very hard to find, or very, very serious.
Very hard to convince many of you also. I'm still trying. But you're also trying, so I'm trying, and we're somehow something's happening.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Yeah, because I experienced this with my sloka class also. Kids, they come regularly, they attend the classes, but when I try to host in person, I want to invite them and do some kirtan and all that, they are not so much inclined, They just want to come and attend the class regularly. And, that's the thing I see that, yeah.
Yeah, do your best. Depend on Krishna. They say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Mm. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, your blessings.
I keep coming every day for as long as the last couple of years. I try to keep coming. I was hoping, some of you will change. And it's slow, but some of you are actually making progress. One little tiny step every day. Sometimes you take one step forward and the next day you're 2 steps backwards. But and I do. And I try to pick you up and hold your hand and you fall down again. So what am I going to do? And we keep trying.
Yes, gosh, very true. We are like that. We are babies. We keep falling down.
Prabhupada said, I had to walk through fire to preach this Krishna consciousness. He said, I didn't look left, I didn't look right, I looked straight ahead. And he said I had to walk through fire. Prabhupada was just so fixed. And he had to deal with people who are, who are coming from the militia culture. People who are inclined to all kinds of sinful activity. Prabhupada could see there was a spark of desire there, so he tried to fan that spark and make it bigger. When you see a person, look for that spark and try to fan that spark. Everyone has that spark in him. Some have it brighter than others. Look for the fan. The fan is how you can bring it to a higher level of activity. But don't waste your time with people who are not interested. If it's obvious that they're not interested, then focus on those who are more inclined.
Yes, thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Revati Mataji. We've got so many nice points from Maharaj now from answering all these questions. Thank you so much for brilliant questions as well. Maharaj, do we have time to take one more question from Scarlett Mataji?
Yeah.
Okay, Scarlett Mataji, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have, in my understanding, what I understood of everything what I read, Prabhupada was very, very, very adamant that to distribute the book. And somehow what I understood is the book always goes to the people who are chosen to later on, even if it's not now, later on to get more strong in Krishna consciousness. Have I understood it right or wrong?
Well, Prabhupada said my books are time bombs.
Exactly.
Time bombs means it'll have its effect in time.
In time, exactly. So even if I give, for instance, the woman I gave book yesterday, she is really thirsty for it, and she wants to know it. She feels that she has not have a chance to know about the truth about the life. So she's very happy and thankful for what she get, and she says she's promised she's going to read, and I know she's going to. I know her very well. But what I mean, she's not coming to temple yet, but still she really read it, and she asks sometimes, and I said, try to read it more, try to think about it, and just take your time, and so on and so on. So in my understanding, just that she read it is giving her chance to maybe later on be even more strong in Krishna consciousness, isn't it not so?
The answer is obvious.
Okay.
What do you think?
For me, for myself, I can talk about for myself. My reading, in 1 year, I am so awakened by my reading, only by my reading. Of course, when I started the class, there was the really fireworks. But when I read, it started something in me. I got my Bhagavad Gita very specially, on very special way. And it was not someone who gave it to me. I got it, I can say, from the universe, from God, from Krishna. And when I start to read it, it happens. Things happened. It was not that it was worthless that I got the book. It was not worthless. I got something of it.
Yeah, and your friend will get something too.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Your friend will get something also.
Yes, that's what. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Kalit Mataji. Maharaj, one more question from Namrata.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please go ahead, Mataji.
I'm sorry, Guru Maharaj, to take a lot of time. Please accept my humble obeisance. Glories to Shri Prabhupada.
Now I'm going to see you tomorrow, so you can ask tomorrow if you want.
Okay, it is not a question, Guru Maharaj, just a realization on what you said about the time bomb. Just a quick realization. Is it fine?
Yeah.
Okay, so about Bhagavad Gita, when Prabhupada says my book is time bomb, so Bhagavad Gita was gifted to my parents on their wedding as a gift from the devotees of ISKCON. They were invited, and I think they never opened it. Because being in the Vaishnava family, we have a lot of Bhagavad Gitas. I mean, from different people. So this Bhagavad Gita was never opened, and after many years, in this COVID time, I read it, and I read it literally like 3 times in that period. So after then, this worked it out. So I can literally feel that thing that Prabhupada, when he says that my books are time bomb.
Yeah. And you're just one of hundreds of stories of the same scenario. I can just sit here all night and tell you stories like that. There's so many.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, these books are time bombs. Sometimes they work fast, sometimes they take years, and sometimes they work next lifetime, but they'll work. That's why we want to put these books everywhere, in libraries, in hospitals, in old age homes, in colleges, universities, any kind of levels of education. We want to put Prabhupada's books everywhere, in jails. There was one devotee, not devotee, this one inmate was in jail, and he was feeling like, I want to read something. He was feeling a little unhappy that day, so he went to the library and he picked up a book about Westerns, some kind of cowboy thing. But somebody had taken the cover of a Western and put it on top of the Bhagavad Gita. So he picked up the book thinking it was a Western, and it was a Bhagavad Gita instead. And he said, what is this? You know? But then he got curious. And sooner after that, he was contacting the devotees. Yeah, these books are time. That's just one of many stories.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. We're already here in Govardhanaka village. We're waiting for you guys.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for this outstanding, wonderful lecture. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for your time and association. It was very
Thank you very
nectarian
much
class.
for today.
Thank you.
Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Have a lovely retreat and lovely time with Maharaj. Enjoy. And please send the pictures. Take lots of pictures and share in the God family. Okay, if you're going to the retreat. Hari Bol. Have a nice Krishna conscious day to everyone. Hari Bol.